Sorry about the poor lighting, folks. This is Kit Kat, Gigi, whatever you want to call me, it doesn't matter. I've been called so many names. Most of those names, like Gigi, were used when I publish books, so I wouldn't be sued by my family. Anyway, I don't know if anybody can comment on my video if Putin is meeting Donald Trump. I know he was, well, he's cheating at his golf game again and said, "Oh, I won. Did you hear that I won?" And he had what, people from Saudi Arabia. And of course, his son in law, Jared, when Trump was in office, had a deal with Saudi Arabia and made millions of dollars. So that's another story. Somebody has to look. The law, the DOJ, somebody has to really look into this family. They're all freaking crooked. But what I heard was, why would Putin? Somebody told me that Putin and his wife are are what, here to visit Trump. Well, no, where, like, he, we wouldn't even allow him into the White House or the Capitol. I mean, oh my God. The only other place would be the second White House, which would be Mar-a-Lago. It's just freaking crazy. Look, I know everybody's upset. Think about it. If Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all those things go down, hospitals would crash. They wouldn't have money. uh, Doctors would resign from their jobs. It would be a domino effect. He's like, look, he's playing the market right now to screw it up because he's a very low self-esteem, uh, selfish, sorry, low selfish esteem individual. He has no spine. He's so jealous, and he's a psychopath. He seriously is a psychopath. He's freaking crazy. I mean, to wait 4 years, think about it. He waited 4 years and we saw him 24/7 all the time. The news people catered to him. Everybody, he's been catered to since being a baby. I hope someone's cleaning his diaper today, because I wouldn't. I'd let him just stew in it. What a, but anyway, I just, you had to realize that this man, okay, sometimes great leaders are psychopaths. I think of certain ones throughout time. Think about it. Think about how they were to the people and everything. Do you know why Caesar had an arena for the citizens? It was to keep them quiet and controlled, and no violent protesting or outbursts against the Roman government. What do you think here in America we have sports games? It's to shut you all up and you scream in the arena and then you go home. And then you're like, you're not even awake to reality. In fact, reality is really what one makes of it, but it's called control. And the bottom line, with Trump screwing the stock market right now and acting dumb, like denying it, and say, huh, what? Well, we all got to burn or hurt sometime while he's on the golf course or having dinner or in his mansion on his golden toilet and crap like that. I mean, that's a psychopath. He was so jealous and still is of Obama and Biden, and him just being a talk show host on The Apprentice. and having businesses go bankrupt. So he is like a shark. He goes in and says, "I got this idea, let's build it." Gets all the contractors, they build it, and then the people say, "Mr. Trump, where's our money?" "Oh, I'm sorry, don't have it." "Well, we need our money." Calls up Russia, talks to somebody in Russia, because that's how we got some money to help pay for Trump Tower. I mean, people. Trump has stuff on Putin, and Putin has stuff on Trump. And excuse me, these two men's egos. Sorry, a little water. God said men are evil, and these two psychopaths are at each other's necks. They both want to be the top dog and have control. Putin wants to see America fall and become a dictatorship. That's he's all happy for that. Trump doesn't see that. Trump's just like a lapdog and playing these games that we're reading in the newspaper about how he's disappointed with Putin and all this stuff. Don't believe it. They're playing a game. But I saw something good today on YouTube. It was that Raskin from Maryland. He had a private meeting of federal workers for them that were just suddenly fired, or some were asked to do something and they said no and they resigned. And they did talk about like a couple lawyer organizations, CEOs, top owners, that Trump wanted to get rid of these lawyers. Um, they said they one woman said that one paid $40 million to still work. You know, do you see it, folks? Did the light bulb turn on top of your head when he goes after people and bribing them, bullying them, countries, individuals, everybody? It's about money. It's all about the money. I that looks pretty bad. That's because ever since he's it's my choice to be miserable and not be able to sleep at night and fall asleep at 4 or 5 in the morning. And then my doctor's office says, "Hey, do you remember this Friday you have a doctor's appointment at 8:30 in the morning?" And I go, "Oh shit, I don't think I can make that. We have to have the latest appointment, so it's more like the end of April." But did totally this I honestly don't think, you know I mean, the theories going around, the gossip on the internet is people think Putin's sick or he's already dead. These psychics say I don't see his soul around here on earth anymore. Well, look, he could still be walking around on Earth, but he's carrying the darkness in him. Darth Vader. He's like Darth Vader without his soul because it's in hell already. And when his flesh goes, it's dust to dust. So, but I'm just amazed. Yet you have to open up your eyes and realize, and I sorry, I'm laughing. I should be crying. Maybe the medication's working better for me. But you have to look at it that this is a psychopath that just the way he sees how everyone's responding, about the market. He sees it all. He sees it all. And he doesn't care about anybody or anything or you're for or like all the Republican mega people who say, Mr. Trump, I voted for you. And 30% of my 401k plan has crashed. Like, get with it and stop this. Like, I mean, I think that was all written on Truth Social or Twitter or whatever. And they're all just mad. The other thing that I saw, okay, this is what I heard, and I already knew this. Musk has contracts in government here, and he does have citizenship here, and his mother lives in Canada. He would not, if he was ever deported, it would probably be Canada, not South Africa. But his whole goal and everything, besides getting money for the billionaires and giving them tax breaks and making Trump happy like that, he's jumping all up and down because he's screwing the system too for his own satisfaction of getting more money from our government for himself. I saw, I didn't see the actual episode the other night where he came. I just saw Midas Touch, one of the young fellas, say that he walked in on Jimmy Kimmel's show and sat down, and they started going at it, like lightly at it, and the audience was sort of like, huh? And the producers were like, what's going on here? This is going off script. And um, Elon says, I'm the future. You're nothing. And Kimmel was pretty witty. He came back with he said, you're a failure. You have nothing. And you could see, like, by what I heard on YouTube, that Elon's ego was really getting hurt. And I can just see the audience. Some will go, come on, Elon, go, go, go. And others like booing, and others yelling for Jimmy. And producers didn't know what the hell, like, probably like, let's cut this out, but they just let it go on. And then it got to a point where Elon's ego was so hurt and crippled on national TV, really, that he banged or crushed, not really physically crushed, but his anger went into his fist, and he like just held on to the desk and banged it a couple times with his anger. And Jimmy Kimmel said, you know, called security and said, take him out. And Elon said, don't touch me. I can walk on my own. And then he left. So the man needs to just stick to his inventions and stay out of politics, you know. But here, it's interesting. Half Jimmy's Kimmel's audience, I guess, felt like sorry for Elon Musk, but I wasn't really on Twitter this morning to go through the hell of Twitter and all the negativity there. That everybody in that audience had their cell phones like recording like what was going on and downloading it all on Twitter X. And I'm just like, oh my God, what has this world come to, folks? I mean, really, get back to the heart. What is within here? Where is the light, the compassion, your faith, your hope? Don't have fear. That comes from the darkness. Trump is just like manipulating everybody with what he's doing. And Today it's amazing because I already thought this, I already knew this, that um, one of the young guys I watch on YouTube, that's one of the top programs in the country, Adam Mockler, he says, well, he keeps on flip flopping with the tariffs. Now he says he's going to put a hold on it for 90 days or something like that. He goes, I don't know why he's flip flopping. And I'm thinking he's flip flopping because that's how he's controlling everybody. He's controlling their emotions. And he says one thing the other day, the stock market went up $40 or whatever. And then the next day he says something like today, and then it just crashed back down. So, you have to watch. It doesn't matter. You can't believe what he says, but watch his actions. It's his actions, you know, it's his actions. So that's what we have to look at. The man, look, I see a man that only wanted to get into office for revenge. He, he, sorry, he hates everybody. He hates everybody. I, he hates everybody. He probably hated his mother for sending him off to military school, and I mean he hated a teacher back in elementary school. He punched her out or slapped her or did something like Tantrum Boy. He never grew up. He's, and I've heard this before, he's like a little boy. He reminds me of a 2-year old growing up in a man's suit, but he doesn't know how to act like a man. He has no integrity, no morals, no values, and he doesn't care. All he cares about, his religion is money. And can seriously, well, we don't want to hurt. Look, you have to. I'm glad I saw everybody out on Saturday, all through the country, protesting against Elon and Trump. That was great. I cannot do that. I would have to be in a wheelchair with uh, oxygen. I would have to ask my doctor, besides these Prevental inhalers, can you give me some oxygen to breathe? And plus, I don't like crowds. And I wouldn't have mind speaking, even with my COPD. I wouldn't mind being up on stage, you know, giving my spewing my opinions of the situation of the current times. But he's like the Titanic. He's like he's gonna sink the Titanic, and he's gonna let that captain who stayed on board go down with it, while he's the other guy who was the architect to the Titanic slip on a little boat and go off to be saved. That's Trump for you. So I just like I don't honestly think that Putin would ever come to America. I don't think he would come here. Honestly don't. And if he does, I would think that uh, no one would give out that information, and I don't think it would be really. You can't have him at Camp David, and you can't have him at locations because he's a KGB at locations where he could get data from. I mean, Jesus, Trump's already his lapdog, and he's been that way since the 80s when he was married to Ivanka, and the KGB invited him to Russia. He's been like this with Russia ever since then. And now, you know, Megan, don't go fighting with Democrats and this and that. We're all in it together. Call your senators up, write letters, There's phone calls to call. I'm glad a lot of people were out protesting. I mean, even Republicans, mega on Saturday. We're all in it together. We had to work together because seriously, if you really love this guy, then get on a flight, go to Russia, and see how they live. Like one mega family, one guy, and I must have said this in an old video. He he took his family, got a visa to go live in Russia. Instead of having a nice house, this I have a row home here. So instead of have wide open spaces, food stores, you can get gasoline, the prices are better. He goes to Russia to live in like a one bedroom apartment studio with his wife and a couple of children, in a foreign country. He does not know how to speak Russian. And he's a YouTube influencer. He's told he cannot be on the internet. That over there is a no-no. They control the social media. So he did one day get out a video that he says, I can't go anywhere. My family's already always being watched. It's cold here. It's hard to get food. It's hard to get heat. Um, and he complained about everything like he really wanted to come back to America. See how good it is back here? Go to a foreign country, especially Russia, and then come back here and say which is better. You're all crazy saying, "Oh, I like Putin." Oh my God, we need to warp you back in time when he was KGB agent and how he killed people. You like that? You like the villain? Oh my God, I need some teeth in my medical plan. I tell you what, uh, I was watching another YouTube channel about states that do a lot of product sales with Canada. And it said, these are the states that want to become part of Canada to like, they got universal health care. Yeah. And I have some friends in Canada and I have a cousin in Toronto. God bless you. And so they said Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, North Dakota, Montana, Washington, maybe Oregon, like those um, top states that border Canada all sell a lot of merchandise with Canada each year. I mean, 4 million or whatever. And I turned off the video, and because I live in Maryland, and I'm thinking, God, I live here in this dump hole, and they wouldn't take us. So I called a cousin of mine who, excuse me, lives down at the villages. I said, I saw y'all protesting at the villages on TV. She said, yeah, that happened. And then I said, oh, did you hear about the states that just said, Washington, D.C., they don't care about us. So why don't we just go over to Canada and become part of Canada? And I said, I told her that, oh God, where I live, they wouldn't even take my state. And she goes, no, Marilyn wants to go to Canada too. Yo, yeah, I got to get a dog passport for her. Right, Sadie girl? You want to go to Canada? We get to see our cousin and friends up there. Geez, they'd get more snow. I was looking at a friend's Facebook page and all this snow, and I'm like, oh my God, what do I? Nah, just you know. But if they were to It would be like Lincoln all over again, where the states break up and he wants us all back together. But this time, look, we have a felon, 34-time felon rapist with dementia who's a psychopath or sociopath, or he's everything. Okay, he's demented, running the country from a golf course. And speaking about that, when he starts, everybody off is off the side. So he's always the first one to play the first couple holes. So his little fat body with his pants pulled up to his titties, he like hits the ball and it goes away from the hole, and he like sneaks over, picks up the ball, puts it down by the hole, and then hits it in. You know he cheats. I can't count the amount of lies he's said all these years since I've been born. Oh my God. It's just amazing. I'm just floored. So I don't even know why the hell I started this video in the first place. I guess to rant about everything. But let's just hope. Look, tax season's coming up. When's tax season? Next weekend. So let's see what happens, because they want that 4 trillion for their rich friends for tax breaks. Okay? And they want to wipe away the middle class. What the hell happens to me? I'm at the bot. Like, here's the graph. Okay, here's okay. See my ceiling. Here's the billionaires. Here's those people in like 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 millionaires or whatever in here. And you go down, and here's the high middle class, middle class, and lower class, and the poor. Well, blah. There. There. Oh my God. You gotta have a sense of humor. And when you're, and I said all these things, and people always ask, again, why is Trump trashing the stock market? You think about it. When something falls and crashes that low, then people can rush in and buy stocks, shares at the lowest price, and then they jack back up. So that's one reason. And the second reason is because he's just so revengeful and hateful that he doesn't mind destroying your lives because of that. Like, what the hell? And then he was like, "What are you talking about? Eggs, eggs, eggs! Stop talking about eggs." And somebody said, "Well, we're talking about eggs because we want to be able to afford them to throw them at Musk's vehicles." Uh, do we have children? Were there any adults that, like, after high school and college, became grown-ups, or do we just have adults that are still children, that are bullies and revengeful and hateful and jealous and insecure? Oh my God. Seriously. Oh my goodness. I need a break. All right. I try to look, my gray hair guy, I had to dye it before I see my doctor, or maybe I'll just go in looking really dramatic, and she'll see all this, and she'll go, "My God, what the hell are you doing to yourself? Get a grip on life. This is only temporary shit, like the Great Depression." Sure, I'll be in a bread line. Right. I'll be in a bread line. We'll all be in bread lines. Won't that just be dandy? And they're not gonna, if we're in a line outside waiting for bread, like if you were in a line waiting to vote in a building, do you think they would come along and give you water? Oh my God. If my mother, she had a good sense of British humor, this, I, she would say they wouldn't even give you a pot to shit in. I'm sorry. Don't don't get my channel off, but it's a little it's a little rough out there. But there's some decency and you know, take your camera, take your dog, uh, give your children to a babysitter and but if your 401k one is crashing, you'll have to take your kids with you because you won't be able to afford a babysitter. But go do something out in nature, really, before the national parks get destroyed and Trump builds real estate in those locations. Oh my God. All right. Um, Positive comments, folks. And I'd like to hear your viewpoint, you know, and if you're struggling or what's going on, to have a little feedback, you know. I'll talk again. I already talked a half an hour, and I gotta eat. It's almost 6 o'clock, but time I eat when I feel like eating. But I just had to get all the rant out because when I heard that Putin would be in America talking with Trump, that's treason. That to me, seriously, I would have the DOJ and I'd have security arrest Donald Trump on that. No US president speaking behind closed doors, the fascist individual that says he's a president. Putin's not a president. No. 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 No, 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 no. All right. Sorry it's grainy today. Just like the weather. It's grainy out there. Oh, one more thing. A big event might happen in April. Scientists are watching a volcano in Alaska. It's not too far away from Anchorage, but it's hot and getting ready to blow. Seriously. I forget when the last time it happened. So, the current locations would be the ash in the air and on the ground. And what sensitive people like me with COPD would breathe in. And I'm on the East Coast. But according to wind direction, wind currents, and stuff like that, stuff like from that huge volcano, and you can look that up, that ash could travel all the way to the East Coast. So just be aware of that. I have a British cousin that lives in British Columbia. Like you can have Bigfoot, you know. Uh it's not gonna be too good, but no, it's heating up and it is really ready to blow. The other thing is, this is really weird. Okay, I know I said I would shut up, but South Africa, the east coast of Africa, is splitting in half. It's like, okay, my door, okay, there's Africa, okay? And here's, let's say this is Cape Town, and this is East South Africa. A line like this where the earth has just pulled apart. Like there's plates that are shifting under there and have pulled that area apart. It's like maybe I'll have another YouTube channel about science stuff and what's going on around the earth because these people are standing there and basically they would have to build bridges to get over, but it keeps on going further and further apart. So families are on both sides of that split in towns and stuff. Check that out. Enjoy your day. I like the video guy that at the end after he talks about all this stuff about Trump and the politics, he smiles and says, "Stay frosty." I got to get the name of that guy, but you probably know him. Take care. Bye bye.